Hi, scientists. I'd like to read about our next section titled Food Chains. So, you have explored the different life cycles, and in a way, there is another food chain cycle. Yes, another cycle in science and in our world. So, I'd like you to track along and read along with me. Food chains. Every animal depends on other animals or plants to survive. Eating is the way animals get the food they need to survive. What is it about food that makes life possible? Food is a source of matter and energy. The matter in food provides the raw materials an organism needs to grow and reproduce. Energy is like fuel. It makes things happen. The transfer of energy and matter from organism to organism in a feeding relationship is called the food chain. Let's look at the links in a food chain. Some organisms don't eat anything. They don't have to because they make their own food. On land, plants such as grasses, trees, and bushes make their own food. In freshwater and ocean systems, plants and algae make their own food. Plants and algae use the energy from the sun to make their own food. Plants and algae are the primary source of matter in a food chain. So here's a caption. Plants make their own food using energy from the sun. Ooh, who remembers? That's called photosynthesis. Header. What animals eat? Some animals eat plants and plant parts. Deer eat grass, leaves, and twigs. Gophers eat roots. Squirrels eat nuts and berries. Grasshoppers eat grass. Pond snails and fish eat algae. Animals that eat only plants or algae are called herbivores. So, only plant eaters. Some animals don't eat plants. Snakes don't eat nuts and berries. Hawks don't eat grass. Spiders don't eat leaves. So, how do they get their matter and energy? Yes, they eat other animals. Snakes and hawks eat gophers and squirrels. Spiders eat insects. Frogs eat insects. Sea otters eat abalone and sea urchins. Animals that eat other animals are called carnivores. So these are our meat eaters. This must sound familiar about our unit about dinosaurs. Carnivores that catch live animals are called predators. The animals they eat are called prey. Some animals like bears, raccoons, robins, and crayfish eat both plants and animals. So when they eat both plants and animals, they are called omnivores. Some animals eat dead organisms, like vultures, eat only dead animals. Others, like isopods and termites, eat dead leaves and wood. Coyotes, rats, and ants will eat just about anything that is dead. Crayfish will also eat dead plants and animals. Animals that feed on dead organisms are called scavengers. Food chains. When a frog eats a grasshopper, the matter and energy in the grasshopper go to the frog. This feeding relationship can also be shown with an arrow. The arrow always points in the direction that the matter and energy flow. If a hawk eats the frog, the matter and energy in the frog goes to the hawk. Matter and energy pass from one organism to the next when it is eaten. This is the food chain. The first link in this chain is the grass. The second link is the grasshopper. The third link is the frog. And the last link in the food chain is the hawk. The arrows show the direction of energy flow. They point from the organism that is eaten to the organism that eats it. A food chain is a way to describe a feeding relationship between organisms. Matter and energy transfer from one organism to the next organism in a food chain. Plants and algae make their own food using the energy from the sun. The sun is needed for almost every food chain on land or in water. Excuse me. Plants are the primary sources of matter in many food chains. So what I'd like you to do as a response is connecting the links in food chains. A population is a group of organisms of one kind that lives in an area. In a field of grass, there might be a population of grasshoppers. In and around a pond, there might be a population of frogs. Around the pond, there might be a population of hawks. So first question, what might happen to the food chain if the population of grasshoppers gets larger? What if the population of grasshoppers gets smaller? Second question, what might happen to the food chain when a drought or fire destroys the grass? And question 3, what might happen to the food chain when the hawks fly away to hunt in a different area? I'd like you to pick one of these questions to answer on your Google Classroom.